In just over 24 hours' time, the polls will close across New South Wales. Both Dominic Perrottet and Chris Minns have spent the day campaigning and trying to secure every single last-minute vote. Labor is the favourite to win, as we know, but as we also know, when it comes to this kind of thing, there are no guarantees. Well, close to it. One thing you might consider a guarantee, one thing that's certain though, is the importance of Western Sydney. About 1/3 of votes tomorrow will come from there, with a number of seats in play. And joining me now is Tom Nance from the Centre for Western Sydney, who has analysed what might happen tomorrow. Tom, thank you so much for your time. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me how you win over the hearts of Western Sydney, and it might not be what we think.
It's really about taking Western Sydney seriously. For years, there's been a feeling on the ground that Western Sydney's often talked down to. It's promised big infrastructure, but no real cut through in terms of what that means for people's lives and how it's going to make them better. So really winning over Western Sydney is about hearts and minds, but it's also about really making sure that we're talking to the region, not only in terms of who it is, but also what its potential is as well.
Potential's a great word there. They are as aspirational as anyone else.
Definitely, definitely. And the aspiration doesn't just, tie itself down to a traditional aspiration, which is own a home. It's around education. Education for young people and for children, particularly from people who've arrived from other countries. It's also around aspiration in terms of future and what Western Sydney can be in terms of investment, in terms of infrastructure, and in terms of a place to work, live and play as well.
If you win Western Sydney, do you win the election?
It definitely gets you there. And we saw that in 2011, the Liberal Party absolutely swept to power due to their results in Western Sydney and have been able to hang on due to Labor not being able to win over some of those key seats.
Cost of living is, well, the biggest issue everywhere. Is that no different?
Oh, no different. And if anything, it's amplified. I mean, when you look at an issue like tolls, Western Sydney's paying more than most. When you look at electricity bills, due to heat and due to cold in winter, we're paying more. And also when we look at both rising mortgages and also rising rentals, Western Sydney's really being hit hard in that regard.
How are they responding to both the Premier and the opposition leader? You're on the ground, you see reactions. Is one proving more popular than the other?
Look, I think it's neck and neck, but I also really feel that this is a bit of a blah election.
A
blah election.
I like that, yeah.
I mean, it's almost this sense of Pepsi versus Coke.
Can I tell you that Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister, has said today, they're both really good blokes. This morning, Dominic Perrottet said to us, I really like Chris Minns. Chris Minns said a couple of days ago, I really liked it. I mean, it's boring as old backbeat, isn't it?
It's the summer of love, We're skipping together through the meadow holding hands, and it's really confusing voters who are used to wars of attrition, vitriol, personal jibes. And so, but as a result, I don't think a lot of the voters have really known how to take these policies. And when we think about wars of attrition, they don't just expose policy, they expose leaders' character. And that's really what I think both sides are kind of, struggling to identify at this point.
It's hard to be critical of someone and a party that hasn't been in government for a long time. It's much easier to take potshots at the government. They've been there for a long time. If you had to put money on the line, which way is it going to go?
It's too close to call. If I was putting money down, it would be about minority government, with the asterisk of not knowing who will be forming it, and particularly given the independent landscape is still to be confirmed.
How will that play in, do you think, as much as it did at the federal level?
I don't think we're going to see that wave. I think the Teal candidates might go okay in the northern suburbs, but not in the same way they did at the federal election. Also, when we're talking about independence, we're talking about regional Australia. Seats like Murray, seats like Barwon, are they going to go back to the Nats? And that's a really big question in terms of who will then have the numbers to be able to negotiate to form government.
The government is losing a lot of high-profile ministers, a lot of people that are well-known and quite popular. Stuart Ayres, one of the most well-known. How's that going to go in Penrith? Tight?
It's very tight. I know he's very confident, which is Stuart down to a T. But I think as the incumbent, I think with his track record of attracting investment and also the fact that he beat Karen McKeon the last time round, I think he's going to be feeling very confident about that, and I think the Liberals will quietly be confident about that seat too.
Just quickly, are you having an election party?
No, I am banned from watching the election in my house. I will keep it to my mobile phone nice and quietly on the couch.
Probably a wise move. Tom Nance, thank you so much. Really appreciate your insights.
Thank you for having me.